What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. This is the Morelia Neo 4 Beta, the brand new, but really not new, edition of the Morelia Neo line, which I'm very excited about. So let's hop straight into the unboxing. Very traditional made in Japan box. You get this box with all of their made in Japan products. Made in Japan here embossed in gold with the gold running bird logo. Everything else is pretty much blank except for the sizing. So there you can see the color as well. These are the white with the red and sort of black and gray accents as well. Morelia Neo 4 Beta Japan. These are in a US 8.5, which I realized in the initial review that I did of the Morelia Neo 3 betas in that beautiful teal colorway and in the black and maroon, those actually were a 9 and a 9.5, which I totally screwed up on the sizing on those ones, which was kind of a disappointment. The 8.5 is the correct size for me for this particular model, which I'm very excited for and really excited to try on feet because I haven't actually tried a proper size, my own size in the beta version of this football boot. So very excited here. Let's jump straight into the unboxing as we always get with the made in Japan Mizuno products. The very, very disappointing and lackluster string bag or whatever you want to call this little satchel thing. Definitely not up to the quality standards of what I would expect from Mizuno, but you know what? The boots kind of make up for it, so that's fine. Here we go. Yes. Oh my days. I think this silo looks so good. Honestly, this is one of the best looking football boots on the market just because of how simple it looks, how unbelievably soft this leather is in the forefoot. Wow. I can already tell some minor differences, which we'll go over in just a second, from the previous generation. But let's get this other one out of the box and we'll roll from there. Again, these are the white with the red and black accents, which is awesome. So I'm gonna take this little tag on here. This tag just describes the heritage from the first Mizuno store back in the 1910s that is essentially focused, they've always been focused on quality and also on longevity of their sportswear products, which is great. So, all right, here we go. Take that out. Boom. Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 Beta in the flesh. What a fantastic looking pair of football boots. So this exact colorway existed for the previous generation. One of my teammates actually wears the Neo 3 betas in this exact colorway, two of my teammates actually, and I have always fancied the look of a white football boot with accent colors. I think it looks really great. Black and red obviously are great together, and so this colorway just looks absolutely fantastic. So let's go over a couple of the tech specs of this Morelia Neo 4 Beta and what makes it slightly different from the previous generation. And I want to really emphasize slightly different here because in typical Mizuno fashion, the Morelia Neo 4 Beta is almost exactly the same boot as the previous generation with minor tweaks. Mizuno is sort of a brand that exemplifies a long-term investment in quality of their products, and it's no wonder they're the highest quality boots in the market overall. That's something that they really pride themselves on, and I do think that I would agree with that statement, whether it comes from Mizuno or anybody else. I do think that Mizuno made in Japan products, and just Mizuno products in general, honestly, are some of the best on the market, if not the best as far as quality and build and all that stuff. This boot comes in at 195 grams, which is almost exactly the same as the Alpha and also the Morelia 2 made in Japan. They're all leather football boot that is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite boots to wear on training days and stuff. I'm hesitant to wear it on game days just because of the sole plate, but again, this sole plate is one that I really like and I think is such a great example of how you make conical studs aggressive, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But 195 grams, I'm not too worried about weight in general. I don't think that it's a big deal. I think getting the football boot that fits your foot best is the most important thing, and then you can go for weight if you fit in a couple different pairs of boots. Mizuno products are especially the made in Japan ones, are on a 24-hour lasting period for better out of the box comfort. That's something that they do really well in the made in Japan products that you don't get in the elite models or the made in Indonesia ones. You've got the rear foot knit pattern here that gives a softer midfoot mesh and more barefoot feel. So they've updated the pattern here. Basically, the material, the midfoot mesh from here all the way through to the heel area is a little bit updated. So you get, it's a little bit softer. It's still I would say on the more synthetic feeling side, even if it is technically a knit. I'm gonna take this stuff out as well. It's technically still a knit, but you do get a pretty nice soft feel there. So that's kind of about how soft it is. I would say that it does have a little bit of stiffness, but there is a reason for that. A lot of the reason why this is one of the best boots on the market. And I would say that both the 99-gram leather boot from Adidas that I know is limited edition, so it's not as easily accessible as this one, and also the Asics DS Lite X Fly 5 and 5 Special Edition. All of these three boots kind of fall under the same category, which is the leather forefoot, the synthetic midfoot, or knit midfoot, and a really nice, more speed boot like with that cushioning of the leather in the forefoot. And I would say that from a build quality perspective, this is probably the top on the list. We'll see as I start to break this in whether this tops the DS Lite X Fly 5. Those are my current favorite boots in this sort of speed boot with the leather forefoot category, but we'll see as that goes on as well. From the last generation, you've got a little bit of a higher collar just for a little bit more secure and connected fit. This is essentially non-existent. I mean, you could probably take this little collar piece off and you wouldn't really notice. Same with this knit as well, but I guess it's a nice addition so that when you have your boot on, we'll see if this actually is the case when I try these on feet in the on feet portion of the video. If they do kind of sit flush with my ankle, I think that'll be a fantastic addition. Otherwise, especially here, is a little bit useless, I would say. The fact that this is a knit lacing system area is the reason why this fits like it does, because having the knit here gives it a very seamless sensation on feet. But I would say that this material here around the ankle and around the heel really doesn't make that much of a difference, but that is a difference from the third generation of the Morelia Neo 4 Beta. So that's something to keep in mind as well. You've got, funny enough, different eyelets compared to the last generation. So the last generation had these more slit eyelets that supposedly creased these laces and caused maybe issues, I don't know, but they've changed it to circular holes. Maybe that's just an easier way to hole punch it in the manufacturing process. I'm not actually sure, but that is pretty funny that they've changed those. You have the nylon and TPU resin external heel, external counter on the outsole, so both coming from this whole one piece or two piece, I guess. That is really, really nice. You've got all conical studs. You've got the 4 here on the lateral side of the forefoot, 4 on the medial side of the forefoot. You've got that little bladed, it's more oval shape or ovular shape than bladed, and then you've got the 4 conical studs in the heel area there. And I do think this is one of the best sole plates on the market. The DS Lite X Fly 5 mirrors this pretty much. It's about the same with a little bit less structure. I would say that they're about equitable. That's something that I feel is pretty strong on the Mizuno product, is that it's pretty springy on the forefoot area, but here in this midfoot, it is really stiff. And that is something that I think it really benefits players who play on all different surfaces, because you do get a really nice energy return from that midfoot area, which is awesome. So really nice, well thought out. It's been this way. You know, some people argue that Mizuno could update this sole plate. For me, this is one of those sole plates that is timeless. It works so well on any style of surface, and this particular stud pattern, with modifications because it comes from the Nike brand, you see on a lot of the pro players who wear any of the GX series, the Tiempo series, all the way back from the Tiempo Legend 4, I believe it was. That sole plate has been used a lot. You saw that sole plate on the John Stones match-worn boots that I was able to get my hands on. It's a very similar stud construction to this, and it's that way for a reason. It's a really neutral plate. There's not a lot of stud pressure, if any, and it does a great job of gripping into the ground on both FG and AG surfaces. So nice job for Mizuno just doing minor updates, both aesthetically and from a construction standpoint to this sole plate. I think that's a really great thing as well. You also get a little bit of more grip in the sockliner, which is a nice feature as well. So you do get a little bit more grippy suede material here on that outsole, and then there's a nice amount of grippy suede material here on the heel area and across the inside of the upper, which is really nice. So overall, fantastic package from Mizuno. I'm very excited to try these on feet. Finally, to be able to get the length of the size right. Hopefully the width is able to break in a little bit as I try them on and as I wear them. I hope to get you guys a 1-month review. It is really difficult for me to promise that right now just because I haven't tried that on, but I will definitely address that more in the on-feet portion of the video. So without further ado, let's get the Mizuno Morelia Neo 4 Betas on feet to see what the sizing is like and see what this new updated version feels like on feet. All right, fam, out here at the facility with the really, really beautiful looking Morelia Neo 4 Betas. Let's get these straight on feet. I'm very excited about this football boot. I think this is gonna be a really nice fitting football boot as well. I'm hoping it's not too short, but I do think that the 8.5 is the correct size. My only gripe with this might be the width of this football boot, but that's okay. We'll get straight into it. So I am wearing a pair of Nike grip socks, which is a little different from a normal pair of socks. They've got a little bit of grip on the outside, but they are thin, and so my hope is that I can give you guys a unfiltered, raw version of what these boots feel like. So getting in, especially compared to the Neo 3 Betas, which I reviewed recently. Holy crap, there we go. All right, so getting straight in and definitely snug, definitely snug. I'm feeling the most amount of pressure here on the outside, but the toe does feel pretty nice. I think this leather in the forefoot will stretch a little bit, which is super nice, and I'll get these laced up. The stretchiness of this knit material in the lacing system area is actually pretty nice. I really like the way that they've constructed that. Gives you a snug feel without feeling overly tight like some other football boots on the market. So there you go. That's what those Morelia Neo 4 Betas feel like and look like. Little bit of bowing here on the outside, which is not really that big of an issue in my opinion, but it's something that I'll monitor as I start to break these boots in as well. So they look super nice on feet in my opinion. Let's get this second pair on. Here we go. All right. And they are definitely more difficult to get on. Oh, goodness gracious. Those are mega difficult to get on for me. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Ooh, perfect. Okay, so there we go. Got that second one on and get these laced up as well. The leather quality in the forefoot area is unbelievable. I gotta say, the seamless sensation you get between the leather and the midfoot it is really hard to beat in my opinion, and this leather quality is just unbelievable. Very similar to what you find on the Morelia 2, which is one of my all-time favorite boots. I think that's definitely in the GOAT boot tier list, and these I would think are probably in that as well. I just need a little more time to break these in and to really find out if they're worth, number one, the money, but also whether they're a boot that I'm gonna have in my normal rotation. One of the things that I think I really appreciate about this football boot, as well as the DS Lite X Fly 5 and 5 Special Edition, is that all of those boots have a similar construction with the leather in the forefoot, synthetic in the midfoot. This is the same construction as those 99 leather boots, which I wore for several games earlier on in the season. And the one thing that I didn't like about that was that the leather in those forefoot areas of that 99 leather, though the forefoot was so it was really comfortable, but it was pretty bulbous, and the leather wasn't as thin and high quality. And the midfoot was even thinner than this, and so it created this really noticeable seam between the leather and the synthetic, and that was something that just kind of annoyed me when playing in those football boots that I didn't really appreciate that much. But there you go. So on these Neo 4 Betas, I can already feel the midfoot stretching really nicely. I'm gonna probably use my shoe stretcher, which I'll leave a link for those down below. It's just a pretty cheap one on Amazon that I use, and that really helps me break in all of my football boots as I start to wear them and stuff. Obviously, I don't get custom fit football boots like most of the high-end pros do, so in order to keep up with a lot of these reviews, I have to make sure that I keep my feet at least a little bit healthy, which is important. But these are already feeling like they break in pretty nicely. I think that midfoot is super nice. I think it's super stable as well. So as I find pivoting and stuff, it doesn't feel like it's gonna be any issue at all with that break-in time once I get those properly broken in and stretched out. So as far as the sole plate goes, really, really nice. Those conical studs do such a fantastic job gripping into the ground. This stud pattern, this rough stud pattern with the one bladed stud or chevron stud in the midfoot with the conical studs on the lateral and medial side of both the forefoot and the heel area do such a nice job of digging into the ground. There's a full look at the boots as well. And one thing that I am noticing, I'm getting a little bit of heel pressure from that little band. There's a little band that sits basically right here and goes all the way around kind of in a U shape like that in the width of my thumb pretty much. And I'm getting a little bit of pressure on that. That could be the socks, that could be the fact that they're brand new, but I imagine that's gonna go away, and I'm not super stressed about the fact that that will be something that I'm feeling right now. It doesn't hurt or anything, it's just a pressure point. It's not as smooth of a sensation as maybe I would want it to be straight out of the box. So, which is fine. It is what it is. Touch on the ball is super, super nice. I love the fact that this knit tongue gives you a really seamless feel on feet. And also you get the benefits of that leather forefoot, which is just unbelievable. It's so the construction of these football boots is near perfect. As you guys know, I've mentioned in a couple videos, I am a huge fan of the boots that have the leather forefoot and the plushness of a leather football boot with the synthetic midfoot that gives you a good amount of rigidity through the midfoot so that you can cut and do things that maybe a normal football boot wouldn't be as optimized for. Again, it's all relative. We're talking tiny bits of percentages here, but that is something that I notice with these football boots is that the construction and the feel are so plush, and I really enjoy the way these fit and feel on feet. I think this is going to be an awesome addition to the rotation. Definitely a training boot, potentially even a game boot after I break them in. I do imagine these are going to take a little bit of time here in the midfoot area, especially where this Running Bird logo is. The Running Bird logo isn't a material that's going to stretch at all, so I really have to depend on this other synthetic knit material here around the Running Bird, and then of course on the medial side here to stretch out a little bit. And then as that starts to stretch, I'll pull the laces tight, and hopefully that forefoot will mold and really stretch around my foot, which will be fantastic. But as far as sizing goes, I would recommend for most foot types, if you're somebody with excessively wide feet, I probably wouldn't even go for the Morelia Neo 4 betas just because they are a little bit on the more like middle to thin side. They will fit some people, as I said, and you guys know, I have medium to wide. I'd say I'd have wide feet, but on the like middle wide as opposed to like super, super wide feet. And these are fitting a little bit snug for sure, but they are gonna be, I think, manageable after some break-in time. So for me, I think they'll be okay, but I would say if you are somebody with super wide feet, I'd just go for the Morelia 2. It's the same weight as this football boot, and those are the most comfortable football boots, I think, on the market, bar none. I think, honestly, they are exceptional, exceptional football boots. So I would probably lean towards that one. But if you are somebody who's interested in these, I would go half a size down. So again, these are an 8.5. I usually wear a 9. I wear a 9 in the Alpha. I wear a 9 in the GX, Tiempo, any of the other Nike. The only boots that I wear half size down in are these and the Adler boots and the Puma Future Ultimate. So hopefully that gives you guys an idea of the sizing, and honestly, I think these are gonna be fantastic. I think these really are probably one of, if not the best overall quality, comfort, and performance football boots you can find on the market, which is fantastic. Very, very close, in my opinion, to the DS Lite X-Fly 5, which just gives a little bit more comfort, less rigidity through the midfoot. So if that's something you're looking for, you can check out this video right here. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.